let's read some warm and fuzzy YA male romances. I'm sorry, I just want to I'm having such a good time. I don't even know what to say. When our home is forever covered in snow, or we're endlessly at sea, where magic is all around but impossible for me. It's that happily ever after, not quite what you'd expect. It's the bonds and friendships between the strangers we've just met. All right, so let's read some warm and fuzzy YA male romantasy. As you can see, I got my hands on these gorgeous editions of the F.T. Lukens novels, and I figured we could do a dedicated reading vlog to see if these bad boys are as nice on the inside as they are on the outside. Because seriously, look at how gorgeous these covers are. I'm a huge fan of F.T. Lukens' cover artist. It seems like the same artist has done all of their covers, and these are the original cover illustrations. They're slightly modified, I believe, but for the most part the art it's the same. It's just the like special edition sprayed edges. Anyway, let's jump into reading these books and seeing if they're as good as I think they'll be. Book 1. I actually read So This Is Ever After already sometime early last year, which honestly is one of the reasons why I jumped on ordering this set when it became available. But unfortunately, I didn't vlog the experience of me reading it. I did, on the other hand, get some clips around that time of me talking about my thoughts after the fact though. So I figured I would share that with you guys before I get to vlogging me reading the remaining 3 books of the set. So I guess, past me, take it away. My favorite book so far is So This Is Ever After by F.T. Lukens, and of course it's the only book I didn't actually vlog while I was reading it. I was listening, I don't remember what I was doing. I think it was I was preparing for my trip to South Dakota, and I was listening to the audiobook while I was packing and stuff, and I was just having a really good time. I really want to read more from F.T. Lukens because I did enjoy it. So that's a little bit of a bummer. This book is basically like a D&D campaign, right? So it is the what happens after you've completed your quest. So your fantasy quest, your generic fantasy quest, you've got a group of characters, you have a prophecy, they've completed the prophecy, and now things aren't quite what they expected, and it's pretty much them trying to figure out the ever after, the ending, the how to get, you know, from there to whatever is meant to be, because all they've known up until this point was, oh, you're gonna save the day by doing this, and then now that they've done it, what happens next? I love that concept. It was so cute. The queer romance, we have a main character who I believe is bi, and who realizes that he needs to find a soulmate or die. Because some certain things have happened, and so he is trying to do that, and there's a couple of people in his life, but there's one person in particular, and of course it's not that easy. And so it was really cute, it was really sweet. I loved how, you know, cheesy and adorable it was. I was super here for it. But yeah, I did really like it. It's definitely a very high 4 stars, possibly even a 5 stars. Like, I feel like I would reread this in the future. It was so adorable, it was so fun, it was a world that I enjoyed going to, and just overall a good time. So that is that. All right, now into the good stuff. So for book 2, we're gonna go with Spellbound, which is a story about a non-witch who is desperately trying to find a way to get into the magical world. And he does this by convincing a famous witch to take him on as an office assistant. Unfortunately, as they are taking on clients, he keeps running into the cute and strange apprentice of his boss's rival. And as fate forces them together time and time again, they just might realize that their competition isn't that bad after all. So let's see what I actually thought of this one. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking right now that I am a fan of FT Lukens. Speaking of fans, yes, we still have the fan blowing into the microphone problem for a couple of the clips. Fortunately, I realized pretty shortly after filming several of these, so there's not that much of it. But for those of you who do notice, I apologize. We are almost through it. Thank you for your patience. And I guess let's get back to it. But I feel like it's too early. This is only book 2. I am invested. I am giddy. I am happy the whole time. I'm just excited to see where things go. All I can think is like, God, I really love the 2 books that I've read so far from FT Lukens. The first one was just thematically, it just made me smile and giddy because it had that kind of D&D quality. This one definitely is heavy on the witches. I did think, based off of this cover, that it would be a little bit more like haunted house. It's not really the vibe, even though there is a scene. There is a scene, but it is more just these characters and magic and a little bit of politics, surprisingly. And yeah, I love it. That's where I just wanted to let you know I am more than halfway through at this point. I've just been eating it up and I'm having a good time. And I just felt like, wow, I know it's too soon to say, but I feel like FT Lukens is definitely on the road to being a favorite author for me. I'm sorry, I just want to like, I'm having such a good time. I don't even know what to say. Wee keeps coming up to me and just like pancaking herself on the floor right next to me. She wants to be close. Don't you, sweetie pie? It's time to read the book. The book. The book. Oh, even, yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so I did it. I finished Spellbound. I loved it. It was great. I really enjoyed it. It was cute. It was warm and fuzzy. It was action-packed. It was the wonderful character dynamics, and it was sweet. It was simple. It was thematic. I enjoyed it. So that was a good time. Midnight adventure. Yeah, there's total puddles everywhere. Late night trying to get Father's Day gift and a birthday gift. And I have no clue what to get. I know, we're like way over there, yeah.
I got enjoyed it. But it was raining, but everybody was.
Like, I feel the parts of me that got a little wet is cold, but okay, I made it back home, but we had quite the adventure on our late night excursion because thunderstorm while we were out. So yeah, that was a lot. All right, feeling pretty good at this point. So for our next book, we're going to be reading In Deeper Waters. This one is about a prince who comes across an abandoned ship while accompanying his older brother on a sea mission of some sort. And while they're dealing with it, they do find a lone survivor who manages to trick them so that he could flee. But as fate would have it, our young prince and this charming, mysterious young man will be brought together by fate, as both of them have secrets that are bigger than expected. At this point, it seems like FT Lukens is on the track to be a new favorite author for me, assuming that this is as good as the other 2 that I've read so far. So I'm feeling pretty hyped at this point. So let's find out. The last time I ended up talking about this author, I was saying that I think that they're a new favorite of mine. And then I started this book. And it's been a little bit of a letdown. Like, I like the idea. I like the idea of the characters, and for the most part, like, I'm fine. Like, I'm having a fine time. There's absolutely nothing wrong, but I'm definitely not getting the giddy, happy vibes that I have with the other 2 books from them that I've read. So this is Ever After and Spellbound. Absolutely adored those books. This one, meh. I don't feel the chemistry. There hasn't been a lot of time, at least in the setup section, like the first half of the book, between the like love interest. So again, not a lot of chemistry to be had there. The actual circumstances of what's been going on, kind of annoying. I don't know. I've just been a little bit irritated and agitated with how things have been handled and the scenario and the lack of interaction in the most important part. Like, I just haven't been feeling the warm, fuzzy vibes that I've had with the other books. But I don't have an actual problem with this. Like, this is your average romantasy story. I had high expectations for it, is what's happening here, and I'm disappointed that it didn't live up to those high expectations. So yeah, I am a little bit more than halfway through. There is a good chance that I will start liking the characters and, you know, feel like they have chemistry towards the latter half of the book, because they are starting to interact more. And in general, when I feel this way halfway through a book, a lot of the times you spend more time with the characters, you start caring about them more, and have a good time. So I think there is a good chance that that's going to happen, because I still do, in general, like what the author is doing. It is just a disappointment because the other books that I've read were happy, enjoyable 100% through, and that's what I was hoping for this. So I guess we will see how I feel about it in the end, but for now we're in the meh range. Okay, hi, hello. I have just finished In Deeper Waters by F.T. Lukens, and this was interesting because, as I mentioned, I was pretty disappointed in the beginning portion, but I had a feeling that during the second part I would get more invested in the characters and the story, and things would tie together and I would have a good time. And for the most part, that was true. I loved the ending. I loved how I felt about everybody at the end, but even, I don't know, like 50% to 75%, I was still a little bit annoyed with the 2 characters and the little conflict and like not knowing certain things and how it was coming out. And I was like, I just want to have cute moments, and that was annoying. That being said, I finished it being all like, oh my god, I love this, F.T. Lukens is amazing. So, I don't know. We've got a wild roller coaster of emotions going on within me, and regardless of being a little bit frustrated, I still enjoyed the whole process. And so, depending on how the next F.T. Lukens goes, they still could be a favorite. They're still in the running. It's still possible. That being said, I'll have access to the audiobook for the next one, and I feel like these are great in audio format, so I'm gonna hold off on reading that until we get there. Going to admit, my optimism may have plummeted just a teeny bit at this point. Even if I ended up getting into the last one towards the end and really enjoyed where the book went, the beginning was definitely a letdown compared to the other books that I had read from F.T. Lukens. So I think part of me was a little bit happy that I couldn't get a hold of the audiobook from Libby, the library app, because I knew that I wanted to continue listening to these audiobooks because chef's kiss. And I wasn't sure I was ready to be heartbroken. Now, let's just say I read a couple of duds in between all of this, which did mean that I was actually feeling pretty excited once my library hold became available for me, even though I was not excited originally. But basically, I started getting excited again because I've had such good experience with the first 2. There's a good shot that I will enjoy this one as well, right? Maybe the last one was a dud, okay? Optimism. I will say though, once I started the audiobook for this one, it was not what I was expecting, which I guess is a good segue into telling you what this one is about. Basically, a deal was struck with a determined witch, granting her a familiar so that she can achieve a seemingly impossible goal. But unlike the typical cat, owl, or even wolf familiar that you would expect, she ends up with something that looks like a whole ass teenage boy, which when she's not having him help her try and achieve her goals, she sends him to the nearby restaurant to get them takeout for their many late nights of work. When their time together comes towards an end, our familiar realizes he's not ready to go back, and fate drops him right into the lap of the cute dishwashing boy at the restaurant that he'd been frequenting. Of course, feelings begin to grow as they spend more and more time together. I was a little confused when I started this. I've gone into pretty much everything blind. Like, I didn't look into anything, no clue what was going on. And so listening to the audiobook, I was surprised when it was a female narrator, being under the impression that it was a male-male romance. There are a lot of female characters, and there is a sapphic relationship. Our main character is staying with his cousin, I believe, and her girlfriend. And so super sweet, super cute, really liked that. And then, I don't know, it worked out really fine. I am in a great mood. I just finished my 4th ever FT Lukens Otherworldly, and I loved it. This was great. This was a fun time. I got all teary-eyed. It was cute. It was everything that the first two was. Yeah, I do think officially FT Lukens is a favorite author for me. I think I can say that. Even with the 3rd book that I read, the last one, being more of a miss for the first half, even that one, the ending had me going all like, oh, I love this, I'm so happy. But like, obviously I can't say that because I struggled kind of for a good chunk of it. So yeah, this one, like the first two, was invested in the beginning. Really liked the way that the characters interacted. I liked the chemistry. I just like how everything was set up. I was invested, I was involved, I enjoyed it. There were some annoying moments, but I feel like that happens in almost all books, so I ain't mad at it. I enjoyed it. I recommend. I love it. I love it. Okay, it's official. FT Lukens is actually a new favorite author for me, especially when it comes to YA books, since that is a genre that I tend to struggle with, even though I'm usually drawn to them. But in this case, I do find myself feeling just happy and giddy for most of the books. And even when I was struggling with this one, it wasn't because it was a YA. So that is definitely a plus. I love the whimsical theme heavy aspects of their romance novels because it really does take you into these unique worlds that are just fun to experience and spend time in. I'm very excited to see what they have in store for us in the future. I will definitely be insta buying their next books. Hopefully they will also be illustrated by the same cover artist, but even if they're not, I'm sure I'll pick them up. If you made it this far, please include some sort of boat emoji in the comment section. I hope you're doing well, happy reading, and I will catch you in the next video. Until then, bye!